If you take a look at this, the factors, or even the first three words, list the factors of a specific number, then you should know that the word factors refer to numbers that can be multiplied to give us that number. So you can now say, okay, it could be 6 times by 3, and it could be 9 times by 2, and then maybe you think, okay, that's it, 6, 3, 9, and 2 are the factors. But then you might even be missing 18 itself and 1, because remember, 18 times by 1 is also 18. And very often people forget about the 1. They might list the 2, the 3, the 6, the 9, and the 18, and they forget about the 1. So a very nice technique to make sure that you don't forget any of the factors is to do it like this. You start with a curly bracket and you close the curly bracket somewhere in the distance, a little further down the line. And you start always with 1. You say 1 times by what gives me that 18, and it then is 18, and that you write right at the end. And then you slowly work towards the middle. So after 1, we know that we can use 2. 2 times by 9. After 2, we know that we can use 3. 3 times by 6. After 3 comes 4, that won't work. After 4 comes 5, that won't work. And after 5 comes 6, and we already have that. Which means we now have all the factors listed, and you can just separate them from each other. There you have all the factors listed, and you know that you haven't missed a single one. Then going to question number 2, they say from this list, give the first 3 multiples of 3. Now remember, there's a difference between a factor and a multiple. Factors are similar to the size of the number that you are working with and smaller, where multiples are similar to the number that you are working with and bigger. And when we say bigger, we mean multiplying with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. Multiplying with natural numbers. So in other words, if we say the multiples of 18, we can say 18 times by 1, 18 times by 2, 18 times by 3, etc. So if you've got 18 times by 1, that is 18, 18 times by 2 is 36, and so forth. And these numbers are called the multiples of 18, because they are starting with the number 18 itself and then gradually going bigger by virtue of multiplication with natural numbers. Now, if you read this question very carefully, they're asking for the multiples of 3. So what we have to do then is to say we've got 3 times by 1, 3 times by 2, and 3 times by 3. Those are the first 3 multiples of 3. And the answers are the multiples we are looking for. So 3 times by 1 is 3, 3 times by 2 is 6, 3 times by 3 is 9. So there we have the first 3 multiples. So it's there, 3 and the 6 and the 9. Those are the first 3 multiples from that list. Then name 2 factor pairs of 18. Factor pairs are the numbers that we've started with initially, those numbers. 2 numbers that you multiply. Because remember, you can't say that 2 and 3, for instance, are a factor pair of 18, because they don't give 18. A factor pair must consist of the 2 numbers that will give you that number. So then we can just say 6 and 3, for instance. We can say 9 and 2, for instance, and we can say 18 and 1. Those will be the factor pairs, and you just need to list 2 of them. And then the last question, they say true or false. The 8th multiple of 8 is 88. Now you need to come back to what we did over there. That will be the first multiple of 18, second multiple of 18, etc. So when we are looking for the 8th multiple of 8, we'll say 8 times by 8, which gives us 64. So the 8th multiple of 8 is 64. When you say 8 times by 11, you'll get 88. So therefore 88 is going to be the 11th multiple of 8. So this is false.